Brothers and sisters, I just figured out who the beast from Revelation is, right? Brothers and sisters, this is proof that what I've been telling you this whole time is true. I've been right about the mark of the beast this whole time, and I've got 100% proof. So I just got the final piece to the puzzle. It's not the chip. What everyone believes, everyone's deceived right now, all right? So get this, before I give you the final piece of the puzzle, I'm going to tell you what I've been teaching in case you're someone that's never seen any of my videos before. I've been telling everybody the truth about what the scripture says, that if you were not a citizen of the Commonwealth of Israel, you were not a Jew. You were not part of the old covenant, meaning in scripture says you were without God and you were a stranger to the promises of the covenant because you were not a citizen of the Commonwealth of Israel. And so the kingdom of heaven is not imaginary. It's not an emotion. You know what I mean? These false preachers is out here telling everybody, yeah, you got to feel happy. That's the kingdom of heaven, is feeling peaceful, right? It's an emotion. It's the kingdom of heaven is within. Well, Jesus said he is not a citizen of the world, not of earth. He's not saying earth. He's not a citizen of the world. He's a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. Satan took Jesus to a high mountain and offered him all the kingdoms of the world, his kingdoms, if he would bow down and serve him. And the scripture says specifically that Satan is the god of this world, right? Now, if you're not pro-Christ, you're antichrist. That's what Jesus said. If you're not pro-Christ, you're antichrist. He said the spirit of the antichrist was on earth while he was there, while he was walking around. So it's not a single. I've been teaching that it's not a single antichrist, right? Because I didn't believe. I seen through all the nonsense that they was teaching. I seen all the lies that they was teaching, and so I didn't believe what they was teaching about the Antichrist being a single man. But check this out. Oh, I almost gave away the final piece of the puzzle, but let me explain a little bit further. So, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven is what Jesus said. Jesus also said, woe to the lawyers, the scribes, and the Pharisees, for they entered not into the kingdom themselves, and they hindered those who wish to enter. There's so many scriptures about the kingdom of heaven, more than just the kingdom of heaven is within, right? And you got to read the 1611 King James Version because these newer versions is corrupted. And there's proof in the scriptures that the kingdom is real. And to enter the kingdom, you have to be reborn. The mystery of rebirth, right? And they were asking Jesus, well, how do I be reborn? Well, Jesus also talks about the overcoming the beast. Those that overcome the beast in the last days. All right. Now, I've taught about the tree of life also, and I'm skimming through this. So matter of fact, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. The beast, mark of the beast, is when you pledge allegiance to one of Satan's kingdoms and you become a citizen of that kingdom, you cannot serve two masters, for you'll hate one and you'll love the other. You cannot serve both God and mammon. You cannot serve both God and government, right? There's also a verse in the book of Luke that says that Jesus was teaching people not to pay taxes. And we're not going to get into this. I'm trying to keep this a real short video because I got the final piece of the puzzle. So you can go check out my other videos here in a second. So the mark of the beast is the legal identity. It's the license, the social security number, birth certificate, your bank accounts. It's the legal person. It's called the straw man or the stromenius homo. All right. The legal identity, the legal entity, the legal person. It's got several names. We're not supposed to take titles of man. And the scripture says specifically that all are to perish for the using of the doctrines and the ordinances of man. All right. We're not supposed to be of the world, of the system. Now, this used to be common teachings back when your grandparents and your great-grandparents was walking this earth. All right. So, to be reborn, when you're reborn, all your previous sins, transgressions, and debts are washed away permanently because the legal entity is destroyed and you become reborn in the spirit as a spiritual entity. You receive the new name that is to be recorded in the book of life. Now, the old 1611 family Bibles, authorized King James versions, they have a record in the front of the Bible. That's the book of life right there. Now, I'm not going to get all into how to become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven, but I'm just skimming through this. I'm going to go ahead and give you the final piece of the puzzle, brothers and sisters. The very first man to create a legal identity and passport, etc., was King Henry V. King Henry V received a head wound. He was shot in the head with an arrow, and he lived. And he is the man that created the legal identity that we have today, that you cannot buy a phone with. You can't buy a car with it. You can't buy a house without it. You can't buy a gun without it. You cannot get a job without it. You cannot start a business without it. You cannot buy or sell legally in Satan's kingdom without the legal identity, the straw man, the license, social security number, etc. It's the name of man and the number of man. Brothers and sisters, God bless y'all. The truth is being unveiled. So check this out. That was back in like about 2,000 years ago. Now, I know that they changed the calendars, and I'm not sure when they changed the calendars, but if you look into it, we use the Gregorian calendar now. We ain't always used that calendar. So we could be right at the 1,000 years, right, where the kingdom of heaven was flourishing. Before this whole new world order came about and all that other stuff that people are pretending is to come in the future, the new world order is already here. The whole world, everyone, free and bond, rich and poor. Even Queen Elizabeth has a birth certificate and a legal identity and a passport. But you think Queen Elizabeth is going to get a chip and a tattoo? No, that'll never happen. That'll never happen. Y'all better wake up. See, we're in the time after the kingdom of heaven already flourished for 1,000 years under Jesus Christ as the head of the church. You know, we had church communities. We had self-sustainable communities, like Amish communities was everywhere. That's why America was free. You know, we used to have the public servants working for us. And the church used to control the music industry. They weren't allowed to cuss on the radio, and they weren't allowed to put out all this evil stuff that they put out nowadays. You know what I mean? And TV, they wasn't allowed to cuss on TV, on public television. Now look at the world. We're in the last days where the devil gets the chance to deceive people for a short period of time again, and they are terrified. They're running out of time, brothers and sisters. The kingdom of heaven is coming back. I'm telling you. And if you want to eat freely of the tree of life, you better look at Matthew 5:48 and take it seriously. Take that to heart, because you got to overcome sin and temptation of the flesh. You got to master your mind, body, soul, and the holy breath of life. You were created perfect. The devil corrupted your consciousness. He taught you of evil. Now you have the ability to do bad things, and you need to decorrupt your consciousness and become perfect like you were originally created, and become the God that you were meant to be. That's how you ascend and eat of the tree of life. This is the truth.